In your opinion, are there regional differences in equity? If so, what? It's hard to draw generalizations based on regional differences, and I definitely do not want to speak for any region. What I will say is that the real world may be a reasonable proxy for what equity issues might look like for different people. So, debating spaces may still be experienced differently by people based on gender, sexuality, race, socioeconomic class, or language status. And these variables shouldn't be viewed in isolation. Intersectionality definitely matters. In terms of topics, I suspect people conceive of access and comfort a bit differently based on their personal experiences. For example, in my country, the Catholic Church regularly seeks to restrict women's reproductive rights. Abortion is completely banned. These are issues I feel strongly about and that have real implications on me. I also know people whose partners have been murdered in the current war on drugs. Some people live in societies with a history of genocide or themselves may be subjected to conscription. Others have personally experienced certain forms of violence. So it's possible that different topics hit closer to home for each of us. Question: what inspired you to do research on equity? I believe in debating as a way to challenge people intellectually, which is important in building a mature political culture. I think it is valuable, especially in this specific historical moment we live in, this supposed post truth society. But for people to choose to join and stay in debating, it needs to be an environment that is fair and inclusive. In my role as a coach or CA of several competitions, the equity team has been valuable in achieving this goal. Question: in your opinion, what is the future of equity? So I think we are moving in the direction of using equity as a tool for education. Many inappropriate remarks or actions may arise from ignorance or a lack of understanding of certain issues or a lack of access to the correct and more enlightened vocabulary. I think there is not much buy in for an openly confrontational or punitive approach in these situations. In these cases, I think people increasingly prefer open and respectful discussion or generalized reminders instead of singling people out. In many ways, equity is still an ongoing conversation in the debating community. There are many tricky issues with no clear answers, or no easy answers at least. I think equity teams and the debating community in general will be thinking more deeply about how we define and uphold due process in our procedures, our conceptions of proportionality in approaching a wide range of equity breaches, and how best we can hold people accountable in cases of serious violations.